Have you ever been part of a project that just felt chaotic, where nobody seems to be on the same page? You are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to deconstruct Scrum. It's one of the most popular frameworks out there designed to bring a little bit of order to all that chaos. I mean, really think about it. The incredibly complex apps on your phone, the software you use for work every single day, it's kind of amazing, right? It all usually starts with a pretty small group of people. So, how in the world do they stay on track and actually deliver something amazing without getting totally lost? Well, for a whole lot of them, the answer is a framework called Scrum. But here's the thing, it's not some rigid step-by-step instruction manual. It's better to think of it like a simple set of rules for a game. It tells you who the players are, what the field looks like, and what the objective is, but it lets the team figure out its own winning strategy. So, let's start our tour and see exactly how this game is played. Okay, first stop on our tour, the players. Just like in any game, you have to know who does what. A Scrum team is actually made up of just 3 key roles, and once you get these, the whole framework really starts to make sense. First up, we've got the product owner. Think of this person as the team's chief visionary. They are completely focused on the what and the why. Their whole job is to make sure the team is building the right thing at the right time to give the most possible value to the business and, of course, to the customers. And here's what's so important. They have the authority. The product owner is in charge of the project's master to-do list, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. They get the final say on what's most important, and they're the one who ultimately decides, yep, this is ready to ship. It's a massive responsibility. Next, we have the Scrum Master. Now, I know this title can be a little misleading. They are not a master in the sense of being the boss. A better way to think of them as a servant leader. Basically a coach whose entire job is to help the team play the game of Scrum as best they possibly can. You can kind of see their 2 main jobs right here, protection and enablement. The Scrum Master acts like a shield, deflecting distractions so the team can actually focus on their work. They're also like a detective, always looking for roadblocks, anything that's slowing the team down and working to get them out of the way. They basically create the perfect bubble for the team to succeed, and they do it all without any formal authority. And that brings us to the heart and soul of the operation, the development team. These are the builders, the makers, the people who are actually turning all those ideas into a real thing. And the key word here is cross-functional. That means all the skills they need, design, coding, testing, you name it, are all right there inside the team. No waiting around for outside help. You'll notice these teams are kept pretty small, and that's on purpose. It makes it way easier to collaborate. But here's the really radical part. They are self-organizing. There are no assigned titles like lead developer or senior tester. The team itself decides who does what and the best way to get the work done. The product owner tells them what the goal is, but the team has total autonomy over how they get there. So, you bring these 3 roles together, right? But a high-performing team doesn't just pop into existence overnight. Like any group of people, they have to go through a pretty natural cycle of development. And that whole journey is captured perfectly by Bruce Tuckman's famous model. You see, teams don't start out perfect. They go through a forming stage where everyone's a bit polite and unsure. Then, very often, there's a messy storming phase where they're figuring each other out. But with good coaching, which is a huge part of the Scrum Master's job, they move into norming. And then, hopefully, they hit that performing stage where they're just a well-oiled, high-achieving machine. All right, we've met the players. Now, what about the game plan? How does a team even know what they should be working on? Let's take a look at the blueprint that guides all the work. Absolutely everything starts with the product backlog. This is the single source of truth for the entire project. Think of it like a master to-do list for everything the product might ever need or want. It's the product owner's baby. They own this list, constantly tweaking and reprioritizing it to make sure the most valuable stuff is always right at the top. A good backlog isn't just some random list. It has 4 key qualities, and there's a great little acronym to remember them. DEEP. Items at the top are detailed enough for the team to start working on them. They're estimated by the team. The whole list is emergent, meaning it's a living document that's always changing. And, most importantly, it is prioritized, so the team is always pulling the most valuable work from the top of the list. So we've got our team, and we've got their master to-do list. But how does an item actually travel from that list all the way to becoming a done feature that people can use? Let's follow the work itself. Okay, this is a really key distinction. You have the product backlog, which is the massive wish list for the entire product. But teams don't try to tackle that whole thing at once. For each short work cycle, which is called a sprint, they pull a small, manageable chunk from the very top of that list. That chunk becomes the sprint backlog, their focused, committed plan for just the next couple of weeks. Now, those items in the backlog are often written as user stories. And to make sure those stories are super clear and actually doable, teams use another helpful acronym, INVEST. A really good story is independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, small, and testable. Hitting all these points just makes sure that everyone is on the same page and the work can flow smoothly without a bunch of surprises. To prevent any confusion and really keep quality high, teams create two super important agreements. Just think of them as quality gates. The definition of ready is the entry gate. It's a checklist that says, yep, this story has everything we need to start working on it. Then you have the definition of done, which is the exit gate. It's a shared promise of what it means for work to be 100% complete. This just gets rid of all that is it done or done ambiguity. All right, the final stop on our tour is all about transparency. One of the core ideas in Scrum is making progress visible to everybody. So let's see how teams keep score. To track their progress, teams often use these really simple visual charts. A burn-down chart shows the work that's remaining, so you want to see that line going down, down, down to 0. A burn-up chart, on the other hand, shows the work they've completed, so you want that line to go up to meet the total goal. Both of them are designed to answer one simple question at a glance. Are we on track? Here's a super simple example of a burn-down chart in action. See that? On day 1, the team starts with 50 points of work they need to get done. By day 5, you can see they've knocked out half of it with 25 points left. And by day 10, they are right on the verge of hitting 0. It's just a powerful, super clear way for the whole team to see if they're on track to hit their goal. And that's our tour. We've met the people, we've looked at their game plan, and we've seen the process they use to turn ideas into actual valuable stuff. So let's just boil it all down, shall we? Scrum is built on 3 really clear roles: the product owner who sets the vision, the development team that actually builds the thing, and the Scrum Master who coaches the process. Everything flows from one prioritized product backlog. All the work gets done in these short, repeatable cycles with clear quality gates, and progress is always visible to everyone. But you gotta remember, Scrum isn't some kind of magic wand. It gives you the rules of the game, but it's up to the players, the team, to figure out how to win. It's a framework that is all about empowerment, learning, and constantly adapting. So the question I want to leave you with is this: how could bringing this kind of focus, autonomy, and transparency change the way your